This is a regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Township of Middletown. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act and laws of 1975, the public has been notified that the Planning Board will meet on December 7th, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. in Town Hall. The Middletown Planning Board notified the Independent, the Star Ledger, the Two River Times on December 4th, 2015. The notice of the meeting is filed with the Township Clerk and posted in Town Hall on December 4th, 2015. All notification of this meeting is given pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to this meeting. Roll call.
Mrs. Carroll? Here. Joseph?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Davis?
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Please rise, salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Four matters on the agenda tonight. No business 2015, 5, New business. New business is Toll Brothers. New business Toll Brothers will not be heard this evening. 2016-101 Ken Ruby Jr. will not be heard this evening. They can carry to the January 4th meeting. And Demos Garage will not be heard this evening. They can carry to the January 4th meeting as well.
Okay. Approval of good. I'm sorry. Need motion for approval of minutes of November 9th, 2016.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. So moved. We are in one resolution, the approval of
Resolution 2016-102, Mattress Tsunami was included for a minor subdivision lot line adjustment. Have a motion, please.
Second.
roll call.
Mrs. Carroll? Yes. Mr. Cabot?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Mr. Cardell?
Yes.
Mr. Perry?
Yes.
Mr. Raffin?
Yes.
Mr. Severino?
Yes.
Mrs. Shubin? Yes. And Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Okay. This is an open meeting to the public. Is there anything not on the agenda that the public would like to bring before us today?
Open to us?
Okay. Very good. Moving to administrative matters, payment of vouchers, Carl.
Review the vouchers, payment of vouchers for today, December 7th, 2016. Approved for James Gorman, $4,207.40. Approved for T&M Associates, $8,409.05. Approved for David Holder, $2,470. Approved for Planning Board, $4,888.50. Total vouchers approved, $19,974.95. I vote for approval.
Second. All in favor? Aye. So approved. All right, brings us to, what brings us to the whole business. And Village 35, we have a letter requesting that they be carried to the date future. And, you know, in fact, maybe what we better do is, before we move on to their keeping it administrative matters, setting resetting meeting dates for the planning board for 2017. Because of what we've got here with both Village 35, Toll Brothers, etc., we're going to add a second meeting for the planning board in February, March, April, and May. What we're going to do is hold those meetings on the third Wednesday of the month. So that would be February 15th, March 15th, April 19th, May 17th. We'll have those in paper, right? We'll plot those meetings there. Does anyone on the board have an issue with any of that? Again, what we're intending to do is keep the first meeting of the month for regular business and then second meeting of the month for, in this case, the largest application we have, probably will have for 2017.
John, does that include January 18th? Did you say?
No. We're going to leave out, exclude January 18th, because it's, like I said, the second meeting of the month. Everything else that we're carrying tonight is going to January 4th. In fact, we have already other applications off the January 4th meeting. So we're not going to carry Toll and Village 35 to January because they're not going to be ready for January. So everybody gets the third Wednesday of January off.
I know, I wouldn't turn it into
As they,
April.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say for the record that I think it is outrageous that we are now here where other applications could have been heard tonight, and that we are continually carrying Toll Brothers and Village 35, and now have to have separate meetings because they continually carry those meetings, and they're never prepared for the meetings that we schedule. I feel like we just, I'm not sure what more we can do other than lay down the fist here and really require that they be prepared for the next meeting that they're on the agenda. I mean, we're putting all on the agenda. It's unfair to other people in the town that we are pushing back, that they cannot come onto the agenda because we have this massive project that is out there and we are sitting here, and once again, they cannot be on the agenda because of these two projects.
well, that's the reason we're actually holding or scheduling second meetings in each of those months.
Sure, but they were on the agenda for today, and they've been previously on the agenda.
There's really, I understand the frustration. I mean, it's with all of us.
Sure, no, I know we're all frustrated.
There's nothing legally we can do. They can ask them to carry the correct GMO.
Yeah, but at some point, if it goes on,
Yeah.
the board can take action saying, either, either dismiss without prejudice or things like that. And we're probably not there yet. I mean, someone did. I understand they're not here, they're not ready tonight. If this continued, that pattern, the board would have within its discretion to say, that's it, we're dismissing it or denying it or something, just because they're not proceeding. But that's not, we're not at that point yet, but I understand Mr. Curry's frustration with where we are.
I just think there's other people and there's other applications that should be on the agenda, and we continue to carry them and put them on the agenda. We are just pushing further projects, continually pushing them back. So,
Well, our other alternative is leave aside the fact that we've got the second meeting.
no,
We just keep reducing the amount of time
Yep.
available to them at any given meeting.
Yep.
So, again, I believe everyone, at least me for sure, shares your frustration.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a motion. Okay, so I'm making a motion that we schedule second meeting in the months of February, March, April, and May for the third Wednesday of the month.
And also the first Wednesday of the regular month. So this is going to stop?
No, we already have those.
No, did we already know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we noticed for the usual first Wednesday of every
We're
month.
going to add those other ones.
Now we're adding the third Wednesday of the months of February through May. So anyway.
So moved on the second, on the third,
So you're saying.
your second.
Yeah, you could just.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Excuse me,
Oh.
is that the Village 35 and Toll Brothers combined at those 4 days, just so I can be clear on that? Is that what
Not
you're
yet.
saying?
Now we're going to move the old
Okay, I just
business.
wasn't sure what you were saying. Okay, thank you.
At this point, the board recognizes it needs more than one meeting to deal with Village 35, Toll Brothers, and other things. Where they fit into that hasn't been determined.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us intrude at the question.
Yeah.
I understand the question.
I'm sorry.
We appreciate that, thank you very much.
Okay, which then brings us to old business, Village 35, AKA National Realty. One shops is Middletown. We've got to find a permanent name for
Well, I
this.
think the technical name that they're using is Village 35. That's the applicant, so
Yes.
we'll use that. And if we slip into other names, we'll all know what we're talking about. As Mr. Schneider has come up, let me just, I have proofs of service and publication from both Village 35 and from Toll Brothers. They sent out 2 separate notices for what the board had asked to be a consolidated hearing for tonight. Both applicants did notice, I reviewed them, they were in order. So the board certainly has jurisdiction tonight if it was going to proceed with the hearing. And you have jurisdiction to carry this to another night, whatever night that may be, without further notice and further publication. Just want to establish that on the ground. Anybody who got notice will not get any new notice. This is sufficient to carry it as long as the board picks a date certain, whatever meeting that may be, for them to come back. And I see Mr. Schneider here, I see Mr. Sordo here as well. So maybe they would like to be heard, or they want to follow up with letters.
Good evening, Paul Schneider, here down on Harmon C Slope for Village 35 on Data. I certainly apologize if there was any inconvenience both to the board or other applicants by request to carry tonight's meeting to the new year. Just to set the record straight, there's been no other occasion when Village 35 asked that the board carry its application. There's been no other occasion when Village 35 was not ready, able, and willing to proceed. When we were here for the last time the board heard testimony on its meeting of June 15, 2016, heard Mr. Fittemont's testimony. That testimony was not completed, and then it indicated that it would not proceed further with the application until a recently filed application by Toll is deemed complete. We went back and forth about that, and at the end of the meeting, Chairman Day said, and I'm quoting from page 155 of the certified transcript. Well, in fairness though to the applicant, if Toll Brothers is not ready for September 7th, we can pick up with Mr. Fittemont's testimony on September 7th. My partner, Mr. Policastro, went back and forth as to what other testimony might be heard on September 7th. And Mr. Policastro said, well, surely you can hear the architect. That doesn't overlap at all. And Chairman Day said, again, it's from the transcript, I agree with you. So we believed in good faith that the board was prepared to hear us on September 7th, whether all was complete or not, because that's what was said. We misunderstood what Chairman Diaz meant, and I don't question the chairman's good faith, but I certainly don't think you can reasonably question our good faith when we came here with a full contingent of professionals, and we're told, well, never mind, but we seem to say on June 15th, go home. So we were reluctant. It's an expensive proposition. We would have gone in September, ready, able, and willing. We would have gone in October, we would have gone in November. We were delighted when we heard that you were scheduling us for December. As Mr. Foreman noticed, reference, we served notice, again, at no small expense. And then, while aware that toll was deemed complete, there was sort of a contingency in that they had to submit something further in terms of a tree save plan, in terms of counting every tree on the site, even those in the areas that were being undisturbed and weren't going to be touched. I don't believe that's been completed. So we had the professionals saying to us, well, do you need us on December 7th? Is the board going to go forward, notwithstanding that this tree save plan by toll isn't complete yet? There's a lot of trees out there now. And, we just felt that in light of what happened in the past, it was reasonable to make one request for an adjournment, the only request that has ever been made. And again, I sincerely apologize if that was any inconvenience to the board or to any other applicant. That's certainly not our intent. There's no one that's more anxious to go forward with this application and get the shovel in the ground, get the development built, as well as certified. So again, I sincerely apologize.
You're not there yet.
I don't think anybody was trying to make this argumentative, Mr. Schneider.
And I'm nor am I.
Well, I understand, and you were commenting on what, board member Perez.
Yes.
However, let's make sure the record doesn't stand, if this ever becomes something that somebody's reading, I want in the record what else happened. What else happened was that National Realty on August 26th, right before Labor Day, submitted new plans. So, on September 7th, they weren't reviewed, there was no ability to review them. I don't have to take a calendar out to look and see where that fit within the holidays, but they submitted on August 26th. And those plans raised a potential jurisdictional issue in terms of the, perhaps a D variance might be required for how the back of the sleep shop and the appliance shop was going to be handled. It was raised in the letter by our planner, it went out, and that was another reason why it wasn't going forward that night. This is not a one-sided thing. I didn't want to jump in and start saying it's anybody's particular fault, but it is not moving in a straight line. It is not moving in a direction that is understandable to the board or to the public. And I think that's the frustration that the board, and certainly I know, I've got a file that grows and nothing's happening.
Mr. Chairman, and I would, if I may, just jump in and clarify for the record that Toll Brothers was deemed complete on October 6, 2016. We said submit 20 plans so that we can do a full site plan review. They were not deemed incomplete. They were deemed complete. A letter went from my office. We inform applicants via telephone and then send out a letter so they know upfront that it has been deemed complete. A letter went out on October 6th from, I certified them, I, Senator Chavan, certified them on October 6th, and a letter went out, I believe either October 6th or October 7th, I don't have my file in front of me, saying that you've been deemed complete, please sort of submit your applications so we can schedule you. Another letter went from the planning board secretary on November 10th reminding the applicant to submit the forms so that, not forms, I beg your pardon, submit the plans so a full site plan review can be conducted.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a suggestion, please? Do we have any representation this evening from Toll Brothers?
We did, Mr. Sardo,
If it's all right with you, Mr. Chairman?
I was gonna say, I think it will come up.
What I'm going to request, I have some questions. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm going to ask the gentlemen both to sit up here, because there's some components of the letter that have some questions on.
Sure.
So the letter that we received, in the second paragraph, you note, to date, we have not received confirmation as to whether Toll intends to proceed on December 7th. Now, you've heard from our planner that Toll Brothers was in fact deemed complete, and, I'm sorry, sir, I forget the...
John Sardo.
Mr. Sardo, you are in receipt of the planner's letter that your application had been deemed complete prior to this meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I want to make sure I'm not losing my mind. You gentlemen work for the same firm?
We do.
Okay. So this is what confuses me. So when your letter says, to date, we've not received confirmation as to whether Toll intends to proceed on December 7th under the consolidated framework which the board has established in these matters. And, you know, I'm a smart guy, but I'm having difficulty understanding the fact that A, you both work for the same firm. B, our planner has noted, and Mr. Sardo has confirmed that Toll Brothers is in fact in receipt of the fact that the application has been deemed complete, and we were waiting on plans, and had every intention of hearing the application this evening. But for the fact that Toll Brothers didn't submit the plans that were requested, similarly on December 2nd, we received a letter from Mr. Paul Castro, to which you're representing this evening. So, as Mr. Gorman mentioned, this puts the planning board in a scenario where we can do nothing. And look, I'm looking at the public here before me. Maybe my count is around 25, 30. Maybe you can count differently. But everyone this evening came out because everyone was noticed by not one applicant, both applicants. Is that correct, Mr. Gorman?
Yeah, there are two separate.
Right. So look, so both applicants noticed general public tonight that we're gonna have a hearing tonight. And we received a letter on December 2nd, and for us to have canceled the meeting without understanding why this was the case, when you both work for the same firm, and it's not the planning board's requirement to give you confirmation as to whether another applicant intends to proceed. So I'm having difficulty understanding the basis for your cancellation, for the ability to not have a hearing this evening, given that information. So maybe you can expand on that for me, please?
Sure. Mr. Sardo could better answer the question, but it's my understanding that the requested plans, and including the resale plan, I don't think I heard the planner say that that's not required for complete tree count.
I don't know what you mean by complete tree count. I don't have the letter right now. The bottom line is we, just for the board's purposes and for board's understanding, the application was deemed complete and we requested 15 copies of full-size plans and 15 copies of 11 by 17s, and we have not received it.
When did you request it?
October 6th or 7th. I don't have the file in front of me, but it's October 6th or 7th, one of the two dates. And another letter went from Debbie Euro on November 10th, reminding to submit us the site plans for review. I don't know what is this tree safe plan that they're talking about, and without referring to my files, I'm not going to even comment on anything. All I can say is they were deemed complete and we were waiting for the site plan.
Mr. Sardo, can you shed some light for us as to why we didn't receive those plans at the request of the planner after the application was deemed complete?
Well, to back up a little bit, we had submitted information about what we deemed to be critical areas of the tree save, if you will, along the roadways. And what was requested was substantial in the open areas for which the development is proposed. October 6th letter, it says that that information should be shown at the time of the site plan review. So while this would be complete, our understanding would be that we may not do an actual present case. So that was
So a lot of trees out there that in areas that are being preserved as open space.
So
A
let-
lot
let
of
me-
trees, quite a bit to go out there and count. And the letter seemed to say that that had to be indicated on the plan. And apparently that hasn't yet been completed. And hence the Village 35, was in the position of what's the board going to do if, I don't know how many acres it is, but it's quite a few of every single tree in an area that's dedicated to open space. They're out there counting on it.
So, you two gentlemen want to tell me that after you received the letter from the planner, after Toll Brothers received the letter from the planner stating that we needed the plans for the review, which we obviously haven't gotten and haven't reviewed, and I don't know if it was conveyed to the planner or the attorney or anyone else, you selected not to submit any plans because you felt that it was overly relevant to any testimony to tell us the number of trees in undeveloped areas? Is that what you're going with?
Absolutely not. We're out there counting them.
No, but look, I get it. I get it. What I'm trying to understand is Toll Brothers.
I'll speak on
Go ahead. What I'm trying to understand is, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you hear something funny, right? So Toll Brothers was deemed complete. You were asked for additional information, and you thought it best to not submit any plans because you wouldn't be able to tell us the number of trees that were in undeveloped, to remain undeveloped areas. Is that what you're going to tell me?
No.
Oh, okay, then explain it first, please.
That's
Very good, Steve.
That's not what I'm going to tell you.
Okay,
Um,
go for it.
I'd like to just say, it's going to be prepared, it will be submitted. In the meantime, the process, as we understand it, is that the applications and hearings will be consolidated. What that precisely means, I'm not exactly sure, but in order to go forward and have those 35 go forward, Toll is prepared to be here this evening with his engineer and professionals, and my understanding is that Village 35 would likely put on engineering testimony in this case. Toll will be available to answer any questions that the board would probably had, to the extent that we provide relevant information. That was our understanding how it was proceed, whether or not that, and that's why Toll knows, and that is why we provided those considerations.
So was Toll given any directive by the board or its agents or the planner or the attorney saying, look, we got this letter, so don't come tonight? Did the board give you any indication that we don't want you to come tonight? Because we pushed off every single other application for this evening, as the chairman mentioned, for one or both applications this evening. And the 30 or 40 people that I count in the audience came out tonight because both applicants noticed. So, look, I'm sure you're sensing a bit of frustration and trying to stay as calm as I can, but I got to tell you guys, you have to respect the time of the chair, of the board, and most importantly, of the general public. They came out to understand how these applications are proceeding. And I think Mr. Gorman's comment was the best, in fact, that he said his file is getting filled up and the application is not proceeding. So, look, the reasons that you're giving me tonight are really not sticking. And for whatever reason that you want to provide in this letter that I'm still not understanding, you're not here, you're not ready to testify. Obviously, there's going to be no hearing moving forward this evening. But I want to let you know that as a member of the board and as a member of the governing body, not happy about it, not happy having the general public coming out tonight to waste their time to understand that you guys aren't ready. We waited for you this evening, we postponed it, we pushed off all other applications, and we got nothing tonight. So understand the frustration as where it's coming from. Understand the fact that I simply don't accept and buy your reason as to why you're not ready to provide testimony tonight. And the thing that baffles me is I can't understand for the life of me. The gentleman worked for the same company. He didn't give you any directive that said, look, if one of the others is not ready, we're not going to have a hearing tonight. Because unless Mr. Gorman tells me or the chairman tells me, I didn't hear anything like that. So The reasons that you gave me, I can't accept them. You wasted everybody's time tonight. I don't expect you to say anything, I'm giving you my frustration for this evening, but I gotta tell you guys, you gotta make much, much better efforts in the face of the chairman and the board and the general public to move this process ahead and work with us so that we can understand what your application is, and you're not doing it tonight.
Gentlemen, I hope you're honest with us, because I see a corporation that's turning into a quasi-partnership here. If there's a difficulty with Toll Brothers, whether it's financial or because of contracts, this is the feeling we're getting backside here, because this is really a delay that's unacceptable, totally. And we feel that there's something in the back that's not working out between both the corporations.
Well, I certainly can assure you that there's nothing in the backside that's not working out between both corporations. And I have to say, I'm more confused than ever, because I understood with the consolidation that they both had to be here and both had to be ready to go forward. And if you're now saying, as I hear Mr. Seniembro said, I'm sorry, I apologize.
It's taken me a while.
That one of us could go forward even if the other wasn't ready to go forward. I don't know, are we deconsolidating it?
No, we're not. Let's stop the confusion.
Let's clear this all up. This is a consolidated application, period. That's on the record, it was established months ago. Do you have any question about that?
No, my only question is, what does that mean in terms of how the procedure will go forward?
What that means is that anything that's said on either case by any witness forms the basis for the board's decision. So that we're not doing it twice. So that if, for example, you have two different engineers, two different planners, two different whatever, if they wind up having a disagreement about something, or if they say something that's inconsistent, the board can use all that evidence, whatever that may be, to make a decision on both applications. And it's going to make two different decisions, one on each, but it's going to have the whole record in a consolidated hearing to do so.
Does that mean that one applicant can go forward and present their entire case, and then the other applicant can go forward? So we understood that wasn't the case.
You can't do that.
Okay, so how do you want to do it then? We understood it was going to be engineer,
Correct.
architect,
Nothing has
architect.
changed.
Okay.
And that's within the discretion of the board. The chair has expressed himself a few times on that to say that's the way that he thinks the best way, the board thinks the best way to handle something of this magnitude. So that the engineering testimony, the planning testimony, whatever the testimony, it's got to be grouped together. Rather than doing it
different than what Mr. Severino said momentarily ago.
Well, the part of the point that I was making is in your letter, you note that you've not received confirmation as to whether Toll intends to proceed. It's not up to both applications to determine if either one of you are proceeding. You're ready. We were ready to hear National Realty this evening if you were to proceed. But apparently there was some type of judgment made on your behalf that you were thinking that you needed to receive confirmation from the planning board.
It's not confirmation from the planning board.
Well, okay, so.
It doesn't say from the planning board in that letter.
No, it does not. No, it does not.
Who is it from? Who's confirmation from?
The way I read this, if we're looking at the first sentence in the second paragraph, the date we have not received confirmation as to whether Toll intends to proceed on December 7th, 2016, under the consolidated framework that the board has established in this matter. You didn't hear from him. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Paul Castro didn't hear from Mr. Junko.
There's also a question of how many plans have to be submitted.
No.
The plans have to be submitted.
That was wait a second. Let's keep this on point. You did not receive confirmation from Mr. Junko. That's what prompted this.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear this story.
Sure. As was pointed out,
X number of plans had to be submitted, and it was indicated that the tree save information, the tree count information, should be submitted on those plans. If that's not the case, then that's great. I think that makes it easier, presumably, for Toll going forward. And that process wasn't completed, and that raised the whole issue of, were we going to come here like we did on September 7th, but we were promised we would, or we understood in good faith that we would be heard, and then told, go home. You know, it didn't seem to be as much of a concern to the board back then that members of the public came out and they were told, go home. As I said, I'm sincerely sorry.
Let's move forward.
Yeah, let's move forward.
Let's move forward, because talking about what happened in June or September or whatever is somewhat irrelevant. So here's what the board decided. It's going to be a consolidated public hearing. That means any word, any evidence, anything that happens in that consolidated proceeding can be used by the board to decide one or both of the cases. Period. The end. The next question you ask is how does the board want the applicants to proceed? And you heard. Basically stick within a topic area, engineering, traffic, planning, whatever. That's what the board wants to hear. One and then the other. Now, as to tonight, my understanding was the board was perfectly willing to go forward tonight with National Realty's engineer, because it would have consumed, maybe not all the night, but they would have been public, it would have been cross-examination, there would have been questions by the board. It would have consumed a considerable amount of the time tonight. Whether or not Toll Brothers had their engineer ready to go or not for tonight was somewhat irrelevant. It is a problem that Toll Brothers hasn't acted with great speed to get whatever they need to get in so that the board's engineer and the board's planner can do review letters. It seems to some extent, I understand counting trees takes time, but they got to get that in so they can catch up. Because at some point, even if National Realty's engineer went tonight, that's where we have to stop again, because the board fully expects the next person to talk to be Toll's engineer. And that can't happen until there's review letters. That's not jurisdictional, it's just a matter of practicality, that we need to have those review letters so the public and the board can understand what's going on. That's where it's stuck. So I think the finger pointing, I didn't start it, but if people want to finger point, I'm more than willing to point. Let's stop, let's move forward, let's pick a day, and let's make some progress. So, can you make it on February 1 and you're both going to be prepared? Is that
No.
No?
The board doesn't want us on the first
February 15th. Is that okay with both the applicants?
It's certainly okay with National Realty, and if our understanding is that we can go forward with National Realty's engineer, regardless of whether Toll's engineer is ready and there's review letters, then it's unequivocal, yes, we'll be here.
Hello, Toll.
Yeah, we'll be here, and I'd just like a clarification, I guess. If in the future down the road, someone can't make a particular hearing, is the other party is then available to fill that time slot?
And the public has questions.
No.
Both parties have to.
Well, if you're asking that, for the sake of discussion, the engineer is not, or your engineer is not ready, can he fill the time with traffic? The answer is no. Your engineer has to follow his engineer. Your traffic follows his traffic. Or, quite frankly, I don't care who goes first. Toll, if you two agree that Toll should go first, that's fine. But that just becomes the sequence of events that goes on. Now, this requires, carry this with date certain of February 15th, that your plans are in for the planner, our engineer, sufficient time to review and get those review letters out, not only to you, but to the board. So we need your, tree saving, counting, is holding things up, or whatever it is, we need to know that you are going, you want those plans by Wednesday.
I would expect them the latest a month before, because that gives the.
Okay. So that becomes January 15th.
Latest, not the earliest,
Right.
latest.
Right, so January 16th is the month.
Right.
That would be approximately 4 weeks.
And that gives adequate time for the engineer to complete the stormwater, everything else. Both the engineer as well as the planner. And the other, Tomsa, everybody else, fire.
Mr. Chairman,
January 16th.
I agree with that. We'll be ready.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Can we also clarify that there's no further changes to the Village 35 application?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because that implies that the plans don't keep on changing after January 16th. Yeah, it's like if you submit new plans or have new ideas after January 16th, it's going to make it very difficult to proceed a month later in February.
Fair enough.
So it's basically whatever you want for that hearing has to be in a month before. That's what the board did.
At the latest.
Yeah, right. That's
At the
what it is.
latest.
Well, I guess it appeared that the first witness is going to be Mr. Fiddlemont on behalf of National Realty, their engineer. If they want to do it in a different order, I guess they have to do it, but that seemed to be the expectation.
Being told.
Sure, and for whatever reason, I guess the board, that's the normal way to go. You wouldn't expect their planner or their traffic expert would go first.
Correct.
We need some housekeeping too. Because these applications have been around for a while, we need extension of time on both. And I would suggest to the board that extension of time go through at least and including March 15th, and because we all recognize it's going to take a while for it to happen, perhaps even beyond that. But at least 2 months, 3 months time for extensions of time on both applications. So I'll leave it to the board what date you think that, what would be a reasonable date to, so that we're not doing this every month. I recognize the applicants are never going, not likely to ask for an automatic approval because the board didn't act within the required time period. However, I want to just foreclose that possibility. A reasonable extension today so that we can not have to worry about this every month.
Village 35 certainly has no problem with that, we understanding how we get a hearing on.
Well, you've been really carried February 15th.
Yeah.
I don't know whether March 15th is enough time, frankly, but if pick a date on here and we'll ask for an extension, and I hope the applicant agrees.
It would make sense to go, where we're going to schedule it out. Is the May 17th meeting.
I mean, listen,
We're not, you're looking for an extension of time to the board's night of decision,
yes,
in which case that's not happening on February 15th or March 15th. I think we ought to carry it out to May 15th.
May 17th.
Absolutely.
Is that acceptable?
For Village 35, that's fine with you, understanding you're going to get it, you don't want hearing each month.
Well, no. You can't promise that. Because the board's going to do everything it can to scheduling these meetings. These people are giving up their nights to do this. I get paid, they don't. So, but it requires cooperation on your side as well. 517, is that okay with Cole? Yes. So, it's on the record, we're good. You want to send them a letter, that's fine.
That's what happened here.
Just looking through some of my notes, just so the public can understand, after, I guess we should clarify, if you know, the board knows, how would the public then have the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses? Are we going to do it by subject matter, engineer and engineer, then cross-examination of both? Or are you going to play that by ear until the night that it happens?
Well, I think the public needs to understand that don't know if there's any objective attorneys, et cetera. We're going to do this by subject matter because an application this size, the whole of the public's questions for projectors in the same categories until the end. No more than the board wait until the end for his questions. I don't think the public can wait till the end for their questions. So we'll do this on a subject by subject / witness by witness basis.
Well, okay, but so if their engineer goes first, the National Realty, the public would have the chance to cross-examine that witness, or are we going to wait till after Toll Brothers' engineer also testifies? I don't know that the board has to decide that tonight. I'm just saying that's going to be an issue that we're going to have to discuss at some point in the February meeting or thereafter.
Well, let me make a point. I think if say, Village 35's engineer, that takes almost the whole evening for the testimony and then for the board's questions. I think we should do the public's questions before waiting a whole nother month. And I think, you know, you lose too much information by waiting that long.
And again, I don't know if the board needs to answer that question tonight. It's a question that will have to be decided because we need to have a process going forward. And if you want to defer that until February, see how it goes, that's okay, but that's
I just
a
want to
question.
make that point.
Mark, I agree with you. It's a long time between meetings, in this case, a month. And where we can have all of the questions, all of the testimony together in one night, the better off that we are. So if it's possible change for some reason, that's, I think, the way the board will proceed with this.
By subject matter, or by witness?
By witness. Subject matter and witness. So.
Right, so one engineer cross, other engineer cross. And move on to the other case.
I'm sorry, yes, Kate.
Suppose then after the first engineer speaks and there's questions and the second engineer speaks, and based on what he says, there's more questions for the first engineer. Can the public go back and re-ask the first engineer a different question based on what the second engineer said?
No.
First engineer met a meeting.
No. You know, there has to be, there's some limitation, right? Otherwise it'll just go on forever, but it would be witness questions, witness questions. I have a feeling that that's not how the applicants are going to present their case. They're going to wind up, both engineers are going to start talking at the same time, interrupting each other, clarifying, so it's going to get a little jumbled that way. But if they do it in precise fashion, where one engineer, then cross, another engineer, then cross, board's questions, whatever, then we're done. Move off that subject, move on to the next.
I think what's important about our discussion this evening is that whatever testimony happens at each evening, the board and the general public will have the ability to question that particular witness for any testimony given that evening, which means that we may need to proactively reserve some time at the end of the evening so that there is adequate time for the board and the general public to ask questions of whatever testimony that they heard that night.
You know, this is all going to get thrown back in our face. So let's clarify. If, for example, the board adjourns and their engineer is not done, it wouldn't be practical to say, let's have cross-examination on that engineer's portion of testimony that evening. So it would be when their witness finishes, then the cross-examination happens.
The problem that I have with that is that you may in fact have an engineer have testimony over the course of 2 weeks. And look, my memory is real good, but I know that it's not that. So, I need to be able to question any witness that evening with that testimony, and I suspect so does the general public for testimony that they hear that evening.
You want to be careful what you ask for, because I haven't run meetings till 2 o'clock in the morning.
What I'm saying is I think while the testimony frankly is fresh in everyone's mind, both board members and general public, that's the best time to ask the question.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but the practicality of it may or may not, because the figure line goes on for 4 hours. It's now 10:30. Are we now going to open it up to objectors, to the board, to the public, et cetera, et cetera? If we are, now we're looking at sitting here till whatever the hell we're done.
I
Because I don't have a problem with it, ever.
You gotta be able to have the freshest questions based on the testimony that you just heard. It's going to be able to make members of the board and members of the public most applicable to the testimony that was given that night.
I'm going to make a suggestion, because we're telling the applicant, put the witnesses on, have them prepared, get going, and get that applicant the direct in a reasonable amount of time, so that there's enough time that evening for cross-examination, and then if the board chooses to keep on going to a new witness after that, fine. If it's time to break, the board breaks.
Whatever witnesses that you put on that evening, there's got to be time for board questions and public questions. Simple.
So the direct testimony shouldn't take more than an hour or two for each of their witnesses, and then the board will then, meeting by meeting, decide when they're going to break for that. So that's the intent. So that, because we all anticipate, this is going to take a while. And now, the next question, you have a transcript of the prior meeting. Do you intend, either jointly or individually, your applicants to have transcripts made of each proceeding?
I know that.
Okay. I mean, you're under no obligation to do so. If you do, we would like copies electronically ASAP.
If we do that, we can follow.
If you don't have transcripts made, that's fine.
Based on this discussion that we just had, I think we should both take it under advisement that we're not getting the architects on February 15th. So I understand how expensive it is to have experts here, etc. I don't think you should be prepared to do other than the engineers on February 15th. We can then decide for the March 15th meeting who you should bring or not bring within reasonableness. Because like I said, the objective here is not to have you show up with 18 witnesses and only one gets on each night. So I think we both should be prepared to have a reasonable discussion about the next meeting, who you need to bring.
Thank you. So is it clear on the record that both the village 35 and full applications are carried to February 15, 2016 meeting without further public notice?
2017.
I'm sorry, 2017, thank you.
That's right. Carried without further publication, without further mail notice to February 15, 2017 at 6:30.
And you'll be the only thing on.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, public, for showing up. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, you may have to stay a second, I apologize.
Well, there was another question I wanted to ask. Looking at the calendar, did either do any of those nights as the board, through May 17, do they present problems? And I know that's pretty far in the future, but as of right now, Are those acceptable to both applicants? Recognizing things change, it's 6 months away, 5 months away.
As of right now, it's,
I think what the chair said was that it would look like, again, nothing written in stone, that the third Wednesday would be the night that this application would be heard. So when you're checking calendars, look at the February 15, March 15, April 19, and May 17 in particular.
Correct.
We did the possibility that it might go to another night as well, but those are the ones where it would be, the intent would be that the board would be listening to this, not exclusively, but primarily. So if you have witness problems, you guys have to figure that out and, plan in advance as best you can.
anything else for us?
No, I think that was the only thing I gave.
Is there anything, there's questions from residents for the public? February. Anyone?
If I'm allowed to sit here and say something?
As long as you speak louder.
Okay.
Oh, speaking loud is not a problem.
Not that way.
No, not that loud. Thank you for an organized approach to the one combined review. We really appreciate that. as a
What's your
public.
name?
I'm William Carl Thomas, a resident of Middletown. And I appreciate that. I note that there was a count a number of times of how many of the public were here. I want you to know the public knows how to read an agenda, and consequently the public understood the intent and purpose of this meeting. I want you to realize that at future meetings there will be more public here, and there will be a tuned public here, a deeply studying public of all of this, so that when questions are asked and input is given, we understand the impact on our town and how this can be both good and problematic. So we're looking forward to participating in a full way. We are very grateful, I'm speaking on behalf of the group that I have a tendency to sit with, for the way you're going about handling a monster of a question. Is that good enough? So thank you very much. I think that's what we really wanted to say to you. And this is not easy, obviously not easy sitting here, so have fun with your clients.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I want to make sure that you get picked up.
Sure. I just have, this is my first public hearing.
Just your name on the record, just so we know.
Yeah, I am not.
What's your name?
My name is Suzanne Danielle. And I understand that this is a very complex process. Can you share with me your thoughts of what would an end date for reviewing both of these applications may look like? Is it going to be, do you have a time frame that you are giving the applicants at all?
No.
So this would go on to 2018?
Hopefully not, but
Possible.
Possibly.
anything is possible, yes, because they can take as long as they feel necessary to present their applications favorable to their applications, etc. So I can't cut them off. That's the question.
So legally, you cannot put any kind of...
Oh, no, that's why we had that, just go back. That's why I had to ask for the extension of time, because legally there's a clock running on the board's decision, and it's not practical. Everyone recognizes it's not going to happen within the time frames permitted in the municipal land use law. So the time frame has now been extended out to May 17, and it might go beyond that, depending on what happens at these subsequent hearings. Who knows?
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. We'll see you on February 15th. Thank you.
Oh, I might just cut another one for fun.
No, you're welcome. Can we get public outside? Yeah. Want to
same company before.
My dad and mom were on that.
All the elected, elections. That's where it counts. She said they did.
I didn't.
What they do?